Boko Haram is a destabilizing force in Africa which has motivated other nations and organizations to become involved in the fight against terror. Established in 2002 by Muhammad Yusuf, Boko Haram's main goal is to institute an Islamic caliphate in Nigeria. In order to accomplish this goal, they created a religious complex, but it quickly became a recruiting site for future terrorists. Additionally, social inequality and poverty throughout Nigeria helped Boko Haram gain support. Boko Haram originated in the Borno state of Nigeria, but the group has spread into the center of the country, closer to the capital. The current leader of Boko Haram is Abu Bakr Shekau. He is said to be a fearless, complex, and radical leader. He admitted in a video that he kidnapped the Chibok girls, also promising that he would sell them or marry them off. On April 14, 2014, 276 girls were kidnapped from the government secondary school in the town of Chibok in the Borno state of Nigeria. The Islamic extremist group Boko Haram, located in northeastern Nigeria, claimed responsibility for the kidnapping.
Hundreds of young girls, fast asleep in their beds, are awakened by the sound of gunfire. Armed attackers have stormed their boarding school and set fire to dozens of buildings. Nearly 300 of them are dragged from their dorm, loaded onto trucks, and carried away deep into the forest. Amina Shawak is one of the lucky ones. She made a run for it and escaped. We thought they were soldiers, and they asked us to board a vehicle, she says, which was headed towards Damboa. And my friends and I jumped from the vehicle and ran back home. Authorities say this was another brazen attack by the jihadist terror group Boko Haram, whose name means Western education is forbidden. The group's aim to establish Islamic law. Amnesty International says in just the first 3 months of this year, more than 1,500 people have died as a result of the insurgency in northeastern Nigeria. 1,500. They've attacked churches, mosques, and markets. Entire villages have been razed to the ground, residents killed in firebomb attacks, shot, or hacked to death. This time, their targets were young girls. It's not the first time they've kidnapped young girls. In November, dozens were rescued during a raid by Nigerian security services. Some were pregnant, some had babies, and others were forced into marrying their kidnappers. And Boko Haram's campaign of terror is expanding. The same day the girls from Chibok were kidnapped, the militants carried out an attack on a crowded bus station in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, killing 71 people and wounding more than 130. What I see all around me here, in addition to the shards of glass and the hunks of metal torn from the sides of these buses by the force of this blast, are personal belongings, and they're mixed with human blood and tissue. Attacks like this have become part of the reality of everyday life here. But this latest kidnapping has gripped the heart of the nation and exposed the inability of Nigeria's government to protect its citizens.
I'm a young mother, so I can't imagine any mother going through this. It's disheartening, it's shocking that our government hasn't even made any official statements. All we keep hearing are lies. Everybody's saying one thing or the other, but they are not true. We need to hear the truth.
Close to 3 weeks later, no one can say exactly how many girls are actually missing. Authorities put the number at more than 220, but have said that could grow. Officials have not released their names or photos, and the military has refused to share information about their search and rescue effort, which they say is ongoing. But fear for the girls' safety and anger at the government response is growing. Protests and rallies have been staged in several cities. Meanwhile, in Chibok, mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers wait helplessly, not knowing where these girls are and if they'll ever come home.
The Nigerian government has been criticized for their lack of action against Boko Haram. The government declared a state of emergency in the northeast in 2013, but a year later, the Chibok girls were kidnapped, sparking outrage from families and civil rights activists.
Now and alive!
It prompted outrage around the world and a campaign to set them free.
Like millions of people across the globe, my husband and I are outraged and heartbroken over the kidnapping of more than 200 Nigerian girls from their school dormitory in the middle of the night. This unconscionable act was committed by a terrorist group determined to keep these girls from getting an education.
Some of the girls were released by Boko Haram after negotiations last October, but many more remained in captivity.
Due to minimal government action, other global leaders have spoken out, including the former President of the United States, Barack Obama.
Obviously, it's a heartbreaking situation, outrageous situation. You've got one of the worst regional or local terrorist organizations in Boko Haram in Nigeria. They've been killing people ruthlessly for many years now, and we've already been seeking greater cooperation with the Nigerians. This may be the event that helps to mobilize the entire international community to finally do something against this horrendous organization that's perpetrated such a terrible crime.
Fortunately, many girls have been able to escape Boko Haram, and even some have bravely shared their stories.
And it was when I was talking to one kidnapped victim that she told me that she had been held with some of the lost Chibok girls as recently as 3 months ago.
Monica was abducted, then marched for weeks into the Sambisa forest, the lair of Boko Haram. For 3 days, last November, she was held with 24 of the missing 219 schoolgirls from Chibok.
Ba a cikin abu ba ne kun yi musu ba laifi ba komai ba kawai daga makaranta ne suka kwashe ku Allah ya nuna muku buɗon fuskan Allah komai ne za su yi da ku sai na ce ku duba komai ne ko sayar wanda suna faɗa kan cewa za su sayar da mutane da komai wani wai sai na ce musu ku yi dogara ga Allah, na ce ku yi dinga yi addu'a kamar yadda muna yi addu'a.
What began as a small group of Americans who were extremely upset over the Chibok schoolgirl kidnapping quickly became a worldwide campaign called Bring Back Our Girls. The campaign's mission is to spread social awareness on behalf of the girls still in captivity. Global leaders, celebrities, and activists alike have joined the campaign by spreading the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls throughout social media.
It's not clear how many schoolgirls are still being held, where they are, or when they too might be set free.
This event is very tragic and has contributed to the terrorism-dominated world we live in today. May we all appreciate our education and safety here in America, and may we keep all the Chibok girls in our thoughts and prayers.